Hello, this is Gregory Jackson for GrabJack.com. Welcome back to my tutorial series on setting up the framework for an adventure RPG in RPG Maker MZ. In this lesson, we're going to look at map IDs and organization. This lesson will be brief, but I want to touch on these things before diving into creating custom tiles and building tile sets. That comes next. If you have not watched this series from the beginning, I recommend doing so as each lesson builds on what came before, and I will be assuming that we are all on the same page together. If you have been following along, then open up the project in MZ and we'll get started. Right-click on Map 001 and click Edit. At the top of the Map Properties window, we see ID:001. We can also see this number at the bottom of the screen. In the previous lesson, when we set the values for the North Map, West Map, East Map, and South Map variables, we were referencing the map ID numbers. Because we never changed the names of the maps, the ID numbers matched the name, which made them easy to identify. However, if we start changing map names, we will need to know how to find the correct ID numbers to plug into NavSys so the correct screens will load while playing. When entering a map ID value into a variable, you can drop any zeros that come before the number. So 001 can be entered simply as 1. RPG Maker MZ allows up to 999 maps in a game. And while that seems like a lot, when doing screen-by-screen transitions, an overworld map like that of the classic Legend of Zelda actually would use 128 maps in the framework we are developing. That's a lot of maps, and they would more than fill up the map list. What we're going to want to do is break our map list down into sections to make things more manageable. Let's go ahead and exit out of the Map Properties window by clicking Cancel. In the map list, let's right-click on the project root and click New, just like we did in the last lesson when we added maps 2 through 5. Under General Settings, change Name to Overworld, change Width to 1, change height to 1, and click OK. A 1x1 tile map is unplayable, but the player will never be able to enter this one. Maps can also serve as folders, and that is what this one is going to be. In the future, if you hear me say create a folder map, this is what I will be referring to. If you press and hold the left mouse button while pointing at a map on the list, you can drag it up and down. If the highlighted area overlaps two lines in the list, when you release the left button, the map will be dragged between those entries. If the highlighted entry is only covering one line, then the map will be dragged into that entry. In the future, when I say drag a map between or drag a map into, this is what I mean. So let's drag map 001 between maps 003 and 004, like so. While the map order in the list has changed, there is no impact on how the map transitions work. Now, drag map 001 into Overworld, like so. Then let's drag maps 2 through 5 into Overworld as well. There is a little button to the left of the Overworld map entry. Clicking it will either collapse or expand the entries it contains. So, we've learned how to find a map's ID number and how to create folder maps for the purpose of organizing our map list. That's going to be all for this lesson. Your homework assignment is to go to www.gimp.org/downloads and get your copy of GIMP for free and install it. Because starting with Lesson 3, we're going to be creating custom tiles and tile sets, and GIMP is what I'll be using. For GrabJack.com, this is Gregory Jackson. Thanks for watching.